Ah, greetings, everybody. I know I've been off for a little bit from our live streams, but I am back. I need a little bit of time to kind of re up. Get my energy back up, and from work and everything like that. So it's good to be back. And we're gonna jump into some more relationship strategies today. Some things that might be hindering your relationship. And so I'm your host, Dr. Keith Fairclough. I work with couples, men and women in relationships, to help them have the absolute best relationships. So listen, let's just hop into it, right? You guys see the title and everything along those lines. And so today we're going to be talking about assumptions, right? That's what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to talk about what the problem with assumptions are. We're going to be talking about how they show up in your relationship. We're going to talk about the damage they do. We're going to talk about the cycles it keeps you in. And we're talking about how to actually break out of that. Because I think a lot of times we're not even fully aware that we're making assumptions, and we're wondering why conversations go wrong so often. We wonder why we can never be heard. We never can be validated or understood. We wonder why there's things just aren't going right. And a lot of times it has to do with assumptions. There may be other things as well, but a lot of times it has to do with assumptions. All right, so let's talk about it, right? What are some of the issues that we have with assumptions, right? What are some of the problems that this brings up? And so one of the problems that it brings up is that we're almost always wrong. And even when we're right, we don't get any extra credit for that. Right. So and let me also let me take a step back. Take a step back. Right. Let's talk about what assumptions are in the first place. Assumptions are when we are making a conclusion about a thing, an event, a reason. We're making meaning behind something with very limited information. We're making a decision. We're making a conclusion about something with very limited information, right? And a lot of times when it comes to we're making assumptions about people, we're doing it based off of the information that we're getting that we think we understand, and we're piecing it all together to create this story. Right? That's what assumptions are, right? That's what we use them for. And what they're supposed to be used for is when we're making an assumption is we don't have access to all the information. So based off the information we have, we're trying to make our best guess based off that information to make a good conclusion. So for example, right? If I'm going to the store and my wife is in a meeting and I know she needs something from the store, but I can't get access to her, and she never sent me a list, I'm going to try to assume, based off of what I do know, what I have seen about her, I'm going to assume what she might need. But okay, I know she said she was going to be, the coffee was running kind of low, so I'm thinking she's going to want some more coffee. Or, I know she said she was going to make dinner this evening. And I think she said she was going to make such and such. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pick that up. Or, I know she likes pineapples, so I'm going to pick up some pineapples for her. That's when we use assumptions. We're trying to make the best educated guess based off what we know about a person, right? I guess what we think we know about a person, right? That's what we use assumptions for. Essentially, you do not have access to the information. This is key. Lock into this part I'm telling you right now. When you don't have access to the information and you have to make a decision, that is when you make an assumption. If you have access to the information, you don't have to make an assumption. You just ask. If I'm at the store with my wife, I don't have to assume what she wants. I say, hey, babe, what do you want? Or if I have access to her, she's not in a meeting, I can call her up or shoot her a text. Hey, babe, I'm at the store. What do you want or what do you need? I don't have to guess. But unfortunately, a lot of times we spend more time guessing when we don't need to and making those assumptions. And here's the problem with that. Because especially when on a relationship, right? So now we're not talking about getting a grocery list and things of that nature. Maybe you got the wrong pineapples or the wrong grapes or the wrong pads or something along those lines. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something a whole lot deeper. When you assume in your relationships, right? That's when it becomes a problem. And let's go through what some of those problems actually are. So the first thing is, like I was saying before, you're almost always wrong. When you make an assumption in your relationship about what your partner thinks, about what they feel, about why they did something, their intentions, when you make an assumption about it, 9 times out of 10, you're wrong. 9 times out of 10, you're wrong. And the one time you may be somewhat right, it doesn't really have any added benefit. Like, it's not like you're gambling where you could mess up 10 times, but that one time you hit a jackpot and it's just like, woo, you get this huge rush or you get all this money. No, that's not what happens in our relationships at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. If you somehow happen to guess their thoughts, guess their intention, guess their emotion, you somehow happen to get all of that right, there's no real added benefit to the situation. So more often than not, you're going to be wrong. And every time you're wrong, you're pushing your partner away. Every time you're wrong, you're judgmental. Every time you're wrong, it's criticism. Every time you're wrong, you're attacked. That's what ends up happening. They feel like they have no voice. They're being invalidated. They feel like their efforts don't matter every single time you're wrong. So if I told you that, hey, there's a way to pass this test that's going to give you 100% every time. You could take this way that's going to give you 100% every time, or you could roll the dice, and more often than not, you're going to fail. 90% of the time, you're going to fail. You may get a 10% if you get it right. Maybe you'll pass it. That one chance, maybe you'll pass. Maybe you will pass it. So it's not even a guarantee, right? But I can guarantee you that 90% of the time you're going to fail. Which one would you take? Of course you would take, no, Keith, of course. Who wouldn't take the 100% every time? Of course I would take the 100% every time. That's the difference between asking questions to clarify and get understanding versus just assuming, thinking that I know them so well. And then that's the next problem with assumptions, because you think you know your partner so well. I've been with them long enough. I've watched them. I see how they operate, and I'm watching all these behaviors and things like that. Like, you think you know your partner, so you think you can make assumptions. Not when it matters the most. Yeah, you might be like, oh, yeah, I know when he comes home, he likes the TV to be on a certain show. Okay, right, low stakes stuff. Oh, I know she likes this food, or I know she likes, these flowers, or okay, fair. That stuff's nice, right? But how often is that stuff saving a relationship? How often is that stuff getting you deeper? How often is that stuff keeping you from getting into arguments and you guys have this deeper connection and increased intimacy? Not really. I mean, that stuff is nice, don't get me wrong, but not really. Not as much as, let me ask you why you did what you did. Let me ask you what you were thinking. Let me ask you what you're feeling and what you were feeling in that moment. Let me share the way I perceived it, and then you share with me, was that correct or not? That's going to build deep intimacy. That's going to get all you guys a lot closer. That's going to have you guys not arguing. That's going to have you guys feel safe. That's going to have you guys feel loved. That's what that's going to do. But maybe guessing you like some of the certain things, they like certain things, that, again, that is not really that great of a benefit to that. I mean, it's nice. It's nice, right? There's not a massive benefit that comes from that. So unfortunately, assumptions, one of the things they do is you'll never really know your partner. You'll never know your husband. You'll never know your wife. You're not going to know them because you didn't ask. And what you thought they did for, why you thought they went to a certain place, why you thought they didn't show up for you like they need, what you thought was wrong. So you'll never really understand them until you slow down and stop making assumptions, and then take the time, start asking questions. And we'll get into all that, solutions to all this as well. But I'm just saying, if you make assumptions, you're never really going to know your partner. And I'll even share this as well, even taking a slight detour, because the things we talk about on this on these live streams, yes, they can help you master your relationship, your intimate relationship, but you could also use it for other relationships as well. Key case in point, your children. We as parents do a terrible job with our children because we assume constantly with them, oh, they're just being moody, or they're just mad because of this, or they just don't like that, or they're just doing this, or we do that constantly, and they are constantly dismissed, and you wonder why they don't want to be around you, and you wonder why they don't want to open up to you, and you wonder why they'll go to a stranger or they'll go to some rando online and divulge all this deep information, but they won't go to you who's 2 steps away, because we constantly do that and have no idea who our children are. Absolutely no idea, because we're constantly making assumptions, thinking that, oh, I know why you did that. You have no idea why they did that. You don't know their thought process. You don't know what they were feeling in the moment. You don't know what pressure they were under. You don't know the way they were trying to perceive things. You don't know what they're trying to learn. You have zero idea, and yet we are constantly making these assumptions on our children, and you see how damaging that could be, and you wonder why your child hates you or doesn't want to be around you, prefers to be around other people, and you're sitting there scratching your head confused that it's the same thing you're doing to them, the same thing that you don't like done to you, and that's making assumptions. You hate it when it happens to you. Don't do it to them. So these skills we're talking about and truly learning somebody, and then that's how assumptions can keep you from actually learning somebody, understanding someone, and forming a relationship with them. That's one of the bad things, one of the problems with making assumptions. You'll never really learn anybody. All you'll learn, you think you'll learn is just what you see. And it's so much deeper than that. Just like you're complex, and you want someone to ask you questions that you really understand where you're coming from or why you do what you do. Other people want the exact same thing. So yeah, we're not making assumptions. We're asking questions. And again, so we can actually learn the people that we're around, the people we're in a relationship with. You want to learn them. All right. And one of the last problems, there are probably other problems as well, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But the last one that I see is that you personalize everything. When you're making assumptions, you personalize it. They did that because of me, right? They did that because they don't like me. They don't love me. They have a problem with me. They're not thinking about me. That's what we do. We take the information, right? We make an assumption. We make it about ourselves. And then now what ends up happening? Not only do we create a version of them in our mind that doesn't exist in real life, but we also start separating ourselves. We start building resentment. Now we start hating this person that we're supposed to be deeply in love with because we've personalized it. We made all their mistakes, all their failings, all their shortcomings about us. You don't care about me. You don't love me. You don't want me. Because if you did, you would have thought about this. Or if you did, you would have preempted this. Or if you did, if we make all these assumptions. And then even when the person's trying to explain to you, no, that's not it. That's not it. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. See, you're getting angry. See this, see that. And you start telling them what they feel. And you start telling them all these things about themselves, right? So now you know them better than they know themselves, and you never ask them a single question. And now you're the victim, and they're doing all this horrible stuff to you, and they're this horrible person. And you go talk to this person about how horrible they are, and you talk to that person about how horrible they are. And then, unfortunately, people on the outside believe you. And then, unfortunately, what happens? The relationship deteriorates. Because now, even when the person tries to talk, they try to open up, they try to share, they try to connect, they try to change, you already have a version of them in your mind that you think is against you. You take no new information in, and whatever they tell you, you know what you'll do? You'll downplay it, you'll explain it away, you'll butt them to death, just so you can keep that resentment and keep that idea, that personalization in your own mind, thinking that it's keeping you safe. Thinking all those assumptions you're making are keeping you safe. And if anyone's like, I have evidence, I'm telling you right now, you don't have evidence. The fact that you personalize it tells me you don't have evidence, that you don't understand behavior and how people operate. Because it's not about you. You assumed and created this caricature in your mind that's an enemy to you, and that's not real in real life. And so now how can your significant other show up for you and show change and show that they love you if in your mind you already shut all that down? And then no matter what they do, you just keep making assumptions. Yeah, well, you only did this because of, you only did that because of, you did. What hope do they have? You know what that does in a relationship? It kills a person's drive to show up for you. It kills their drive to open up and share anything with you. It destroys trust Assumptions destroy trust. Because you know what people start saying on the other side? It don't matter what I say, you're already going to believe whatever you're going to believe. Don't matter what I do, you're going to downplay it all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anything. Nothing I do is going to change the version of me in your mind. So why do I even try? Why do I even try? Why do I waste my time? And so you start getting these conversations and you start sharing, yeah, because, you don't ever show up and you don't try in the relationship and you and see, even look right now, you're not even paying attention. And see, that's how I know you don't care. Another assumption, just assumption on top of assumption and on top of assumption. And the only thing that person's thinking in their mind is like, it could be a couple of things. Man, I can't ever do anything right, but they're never happy. They're always trying to start fights. They start making assumptions in their own minds. And they start thinking about, man, why am I even here? Why am I even doing this? Why am I wasting my time? But on the outside, they're just sitting there listening, taking it and getting beat up. Because I'm telling you right now, when you make those assumptions, you are literally beating your spouse up constantly, hitting them. And some people can take abuse for only so long. So when your partner says to you, your husband, your wife says to you, I think I'm being emotionally abused, and you scoff at it, because I'm just speaking my mind and I'm just sharing, and you don't listen and all this stuff. That's because you're dismissing and invalidating them and then beating them up in the process with criticism and contempt. See, other men do it better, and other wives will do all this, and you just in comparison, and you are tearing your partner apart. They don't stand a chance in your mind because you've personalized everything. You've built resentment around everything. They can't even pierce that wall. There's so much negative sentiment override. They can't even pierce that wall if they were perfect. Because the one moment they mess up, you know what you do? You rain down fire and brimstone on them with all these accusations, all these assumptions. And it just kills their desire to try. It kills their desire to show up and say, I love you and I care about you. And I really want to say, it kills that desire. Again, going to parenting. You ever wonder why your kids stop coming to you? They stop talking to you. They stop wanting to show up and love you and hug you and spend time with you. You ever wonder why? How many times can you dismiss them? How many times can you invalidate them? How many times kids are resilient, but daggone it, people can only take so much until finally they get the lesson, they get the message. Mom and dad don't care. They don't. They don't like me. I'm a mistake, whatever the case may be. So I'm not going to engage with them. They're not safe. It happens like that all the time, and you don't even know it. And it's coming from the assumptions you're making. Assumptions are destroying our relationships. They serve zero benefit and cause nothing but hell in our relationships on a regular basis. So why do we keep doing something that's destructive to our relationships? Why are we making excuses for making assumptions? Why are we doing that? And then we want people to validate our assumptions. No, validate your perspective. And we'll get to that in a second, because we're talking about the solution to this. We can validate your perspective. We can't validate your assumptions. If you come and say, yeah, I think you're a horrible father or a horrible mother or a horrible wife, or horrible, I think you're just horrible, and these are all the reasons why. And they start defending themselves, and you didn't validate me. Why would I validate you tearing me apart? Right? Is it possible to do that? Yeah. Is it probable that's going to happen? No. No. Looking at it like this, if someone punches you in the face and they said, I punched you in the face because, you hurt me in the past, are you going to be like, oh, you know what? As you hold your teeth in your hand, or, your nose is bleeding, you think you're going to be really like, oh, yeah. Dang, yeah, you're right. I did do that to you back then. My fault. I can understand why you're not going to do that. No human is going to do that. We don't do that. No, you're going to defend yourself. You're not thinking about them. You're thinking about the hurt that you just took on and how you want to give it back. That's what you're thinking about. And that's what happens when we make assumptions. You cannot expect you to lay around all these assumptions onto your partner and never ask them a question, and then expect them to all of a sudden just kind of bounce back and just be all loving and caring and all these things like that. I mean, shoot, there's even sometimes when you guys are having conversations and then, you make all these assumptions, just levy it on them and just lay it on them, lay it on them, lay it on them. And they'll try their best to sit through it and validate it. And you'll be going at it for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I mean, they're just getting hit for a long time and they'll just be right there trying their best to be there for you. And then afterwards, you feel better. Oh, I feel good. I feel like I got everything off my chest. Oh man, I'm so happy. Why don't we go do something fun? They're like, yeah, nah, I'm good on that. I'm good. And then what do you say? Oh, this is why I can't tell you anything. You just beat them down for an hour straight. And you can't even see that. There's a reason why they don't want to hang out with you after that. You need time to recover. But that's what happens when we make assumptions. That is what happens. And this happens in relationships on a regular basis. And if you don't get a handle on this, you're going to chase the love of your life away. You're going to chase them into the arms of another person. You're going to be sitting there confused. And I know people say, oh, there's no reason to cheat. Yes, I agree. There's no reason to cheat, right? I agree. I'm right there with you. But I understand if someone's getting beat up all the time and they go somewhere else and they're just sharing, they're not trying to, they're sharing and someone else is being empathetic. They're asking questions. They're showing up for them. They're listening. They're empathizing. They're validating. They're doing all those things to them. And it feels like, dang, it feels good. This is what it feels like to be heard, validated, understood. This is what it feels like for someone to actually take an active interest in me and pour into me. That's what this feels like. Oh man. Yeah. That feels good. So it makes sense as to why they would stay over there with Patricia or why they would stay over there with Sam or Jim or whoever, right? It makes sense as why they gravitate towards that person because that person is showing up for them in a way that you're not. They're not hurting them the way that you are. So I'm trying to help you understand that when you're making these assumptions, when you're assuming their thoughts, assuming their intentions, and assuming their feelings, when you're doing that, you're driving your partner away. You are pushing them away. And they could be trying to get close, but you just keep pushing them away. And then when they're not meeting your need, you layer on more assumptions, and more accusations and more criticism and more contempt and pushes them further away and makes them less and less likely to do it. We got to stop with the assumptions. We have to. Like I said in the beginning, you only have to make an assumption when you need to make a decision and you don't have access to the information or to the person. That's it. You have to make a decision. Like it's right now. I got to make a decision. Right. And then you make that decision based off of what you think you know about this person or this situation. So for instance, if someone was, if a business partner of mine had to make a deal without me, for whatever reason. They couldn't access me for whatever reason, but they got to make this deal. And this deal was shady. This deal required hurting people. This deal required screwing people over. My business partner could look at me, and I know Keith, and I know he loves people. I know he would never want to screw anybody over or cheat anybody. So I know not to take this deal. That's when you would make an assumption like that, right? That's when you make an assumption like that. But if you have access to the information, you access to the person, pick up the phone. Hey, Keith, man, hey, they said we can make this deal and we can do this speaking engagement or whatever, man. But they said that we have to lie about, our results and lie about this to really like sell the thing home and really, work on them and get the, hey, what do you think? Well, I think you turn that deal down immediately because we're not going to sully our name and sully what we do and lie to people. We're not going to do that. We're authentic all the way through and through. All right, cool, Keith. All right, excellent. I'll let them know. Boom. Done deal, right? No need to make an assumption. You have your significant other, you have your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your fiance, whoever. You have access to them. These are the solutions come in, right? You ask questions, clarifying questions. Ask, don't assume. And if you don't have to make a decision right now, then wait. If you know, okay, your wife is in a meeting or your husband's in a meeting from 3 to 4, right? And you don't have to go to the grocery store from 3 to 4. You can wait till a little bit later. Then guess what? Just wait. Shoot them a text. Hey, babe, plan on going to the grocery store. Hey, shoot me what you need. And I'm going to wait. Just ask. If a situation takes place and it didn't work out great, Don't assume, just ask. Hey, babe, hey, we were late to the movie or we were late to the event and we missed the first part, hey, what was going on? Yeah, what happened? What was going on? Give them an opportunity to express themselves. Oh, yeah, no, I lost track of time and or I was caught up in this thing, or you know what? Honestly, I thought about the first part and I was like, man, we don't really need that first part, or just ask. Just ask them. Let them share what's going on inside them. Because just because you think you know why they did something, that holds no weight, right? Again, you don't get a bonus. You might think you do, like, oh, I know my partner so well. Well, how about you just ask them questions and let them tell you so you can learn that way? You don't have to guess. I use the example of like a test in the beginning. Now let me give you another example. If I was giving you guys a test and I said you have two options, right? Two options. One, closed book, closed notes, close everything, no ChatGPT or nothing, right? And you take this test. Or open note, open videos, open everything, open notes, open book, and ChatGPT, and you can take the test like that. Which one would you choose? Of course, again, you're going to choose the one with of course. Why wouldn't I choose the one that gives me access to all the resources and all the help and all the reasoning? Well, of course, why wouldn't I choose that? I can even phone a friend. Yeah, of course I'm going to take that. Why? Who wouldn't? It's the exact same thing in a relationship. It's it. You have your partner in front of you, your husband, your wife. You have them. Just ask. Right? Hey, I want to know more about you. I want to know. Hey, I want to understand what your thinking was behind this. Right? Hey, I remember I asked you to take out the trash twice. It didn't happen. I'm just trying to understand like what happened, what kept you from doing that. Right? Just ask. Oh, you know what, babe? Listen, I'm so sorry. I got caught up in the game. I'm telling you the God honest truth, man. I was on the game. I came home from work. I was excited. It'd been a long day. I was stressed out, and I know you asked it a couple times before, but man, I was just so today, and I was just on the game, and I was just, man, But you know what? You're right. My apologies. I should have took the trash out when I came home. My fault. That's on me. Guess what you just learned? You just learned about what happened during his day. You just learned that it wasn't intentional. He wasn't trying to hurt you. You just learned that he recognizes that, hey, he should have taken it out. He recognizes that, hey, he's going to try to change his behavior. That's what you got from not making an assumption, just asking a question. Not nagging, not saying, did you, do it, did no. If you ever, we have to talk about the rule of two at another time, but you ask what kept him or what kept her from doing that thing, oh, babe, hey, I know we're talking about intimacy, right? For the last couple of days, and I never asked you twice, and it kind of never happened, so I'm just trying to figure out, hey, what's going on or what happened, right? Oh shoot, oh yeah, no, you're right, babe. I'm so sorry. Hey, this was what was going on in my mind, or hey, I was just feeling down, or I wasn't feeling well, or whatever it might be, right? You know, or honestly, I got really tired. I had a long day. I got really, I was all the intention in the world. I took out my lingerie for you and everything like that, and I came upstairs to get ready and took a shower. And I said I was going to sit down for a little. I just conked out. I'm so sorry. I apologize. How much did you just learn? Oh, she's tired. Hey, babe. Well, yeah, I accept your apology. Hey, what was making you tired? What was going on? Oh, work. It's crazy. This, and Jackie over here. She was the bit. Now you start really learning your partner. You start connecting. Why? Because I'm not making an assumption. I'm not criticizing them. I'm not attacking them. I'm simply trying to understand what's going on. I'm trying to understand the reasoning behind why you do what you do and what happened in this situation. Because that's how I can learn how to work with you. That's how we can come up with a better solution, right? Instead of just trying to white knuckle it or just trying to force our way through. Well, you just got to make it happen regardless. Well, shoot, that's kind of cold. And she just told you she was stressed out from work from some things that happened. He just told you they've been running him ragged at the job, to just tell him or her to just white knuckle it. Well, because you said you need to keep your word, bro. Where's the empathy? Where's the compassion? They just shared what was going on. You now got an entrance into the world. Hey, why don't we talk about, hey, what are some ways we can take some stress off of you? What are some ways we can make it easier when you get home? Hey, is there anything I can do to help you in that? And I can't come to your job, to help you, sir. My husband, I can't come to your job to help you. Is there anything I can do, like to take the edge off? Is there anything we can take off your plate or push back, or maybe we need to plan a vacation or something? We can actually start solving some real issues in our relationship. And the same thing for your wife. Yeah, hey, you got all that stuff going on at work. Hey, is there anything I can do to help you? You want to talk about it, like debrief about it? Like, what do you want to do? We can actually start getting to some real solutions when we stop assuming and start asking and start empathizing and start validating. You know how close, you know how much people want to be heard, validated, and understood? I cannot stress how many people just want to be heard, validated, and understood. Not everybody even needs a solution. So instead of us assuming, give people what they want. Give them, hey, let me just hear them out. Let me ask them questions to find out what's going on inside them. You know what else this does? It creates a safe space in your relationship for you to open up and share. Because guess what? Now he feels more open to open up and share when things are going on. She feels more open to open up and share when things are going on. They feel connected. You know what that leads to? Not that this was the point of this, live stream, but when people feel connected and safe like that, when the man feels desired, like, oh shoot, she wants to help me, she wants to be there for me, so on and so forth. Well, when the woman feels like, oh yeah, he wants to be there to support me and help me, give me a safe place so I can feel safe and comfortable. Of course, it's going to draw them closer to you. It's going to increase intimacy. Guaranteed, it's going to increase intimacy. And I'm talking about physical intimacy. It's going to increase that because, of course, you want to connect with someone that you feel safe with, that you feel comfortable with, that wants to actually understand you, especially in a world where so many assumptions and accusations get thrown around constantly. So definitely, definitely, definitely ask questions. Ask questions. Do not assume. Make sure, here's the next solution, right? Make sure if you're sharing an observation, make sure you use I statements, legitimate I statements, not you statements veiled as I statements, but I statements. Right? An I statement is, hey, babe, hey, when we were talking, or it seems like, hey, it seems like to me, this is how I am receiving you right now. This is how my perception. It seems to me, and maybe you're frustrated or angry. I don't know. Is everything okay? Because I was just asking you a question, and I felt like I was kind of snapped on a little bit, and I'm just trying to check and see, is everything okay? Did I read that right? Or hey, babe, it seems like you seem disconnected, like you don't care, or something along those lines. But that's to me, right? That's just how I'm seeing it, right? I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying this is what it's coming across like to me. Is everything okay? Is that what your intention was, or what? Again, you're just asking questions, but as you're sharing your perspective about the situation going on, you're just sharing, hey, this is just what I'm seeing right now. I'm not saying this is what you're doing. This is just what I'm seeing. And I want to check with you to make sure that either I'm right or wrong, but we could do something about it. And when I say you don't want to veil an I statement as a you statement, what you don't want, this is what that would look like. You know what? It seems to me that you're just angry right now, or you're just frustrated. Because every time I bring this up, this is what you do. You get frustrated, you get angry. And I say, I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. You tell me, no, I'm just saying my perspective. I'm just saying my perspective is that you're angry and you're frustrated. And that you just failed at the I statement. You just completely failed. What you did was you veiled a you statement under the guise of an I statement, because you're not sharing. What you're sharing is your opinion. What you're sharing is your critique. When you're not sharing, hey, this is my experience. And here's another thing as well. Instead of saying, oh, you're angry, hey, when it seems like to me, just state the behavior. Don't state the assumption, state the behavior. Hey, hey, it sounds like your voice is being raised, or hey, it sounds like your voice is a little sharp right now, right? That's an objective thing you could state instead of stating the intention. Oh, you're angry right now, or you're frustrated right now, or you don't care right now. Hey, babe, I'm talking to you, and I see you on your phone. Is everything okay? Is this now a good time? Is this what I'm just seeing? It just seems like, we're not really connecting right now, because it seems like you're on your phone. Again, and that's how you share your perspective when it comes to that. Describe the behaviors. Don't describe what you think it is, the meaning. Oh, you're on your phone, so that means you don't care. No, don't describe that. So don't say, hey, it seems to me like you don't care. Don't do that. Seems to me like you're angry. Don't do that. Don't do that. Right? Go to the behavior. Seems to me that maybe, like it sounds like your voice is it seems to me it's a little loud right now, like, or it was a little sharp right now, or here, look, I'm trying to talk to you, but you're watching the TV, so I'm just trying to figure out is everything okay, right? Are we good? Do we need to come back another time? Describe the behavior. Don't describe the intent. Don't describe what you think the thought was or what you think the feeling was. Just the observable behavior, because guess what? That's literally all you can see. You can't see intent. You can't see thought. You can't see feeling. All you can see is behavior. State the behavior from your perspective, and then allow them to share what the meaning is, what the intent is, what the thought is, what the feelings. Allow them to share that. And that's you get that meaning, and that's where you get that connection. Because maybe they say, you know what, babe, I'm sorry, but right now I just really can't do it. I'm not in the right headspace. Just had a really rough day at work, or I'm just really angry right now, frustrated about something else, or whatever the case may be. So I just can't do it right now. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, you need anything from me? Let me know. All right. All I do is describe the behavior. That's it. So that's the next thing. That's the other solution. You're using those I statements. Describe the behavior, not the intent, not the thought, not the feeling, none of that. Just the behavior. What I can observably see. That's what you describe, right? And the last thing is learn to reframe and not take things personal. Take absolutely nothing personal. Nothing. Not one thing. And the reason why I'm telling you this right now is because we have to understand that we do the things we do, not because of the people in front of us, but because of what we experience and how we're trying to navigate the world. That is why we do what we do. It's not personal. It's survival. It's thriving. That's why we do what we do. It's not about you. You may, in your relationship, you're probably riddled with resentment. You may be riddled with resentment because you've personalized all these things. They don't like me. They're trying to hurt me. They don't care about me. And then what you do is you take that and then you try to look for evidence to fill those gaps. And you say, Keith, no one's looking for evidence to fill those gaps. Of course we're looking for evidence to fill those gaps. That's how your brain keeps itself safe. Because if you don't train your brain otherwise, it's going to take things personal. Because your brain is going to be like, well, you're not finding out the intent. And we can't just leave it up to chance. So personalize it, make it about us, so now we can put a defense up. I'm telling you right now, it's not about you. The reason why maybe your husband shuts down, it's not about you. Or the reason your wife responds the way she does, maybe she gets loud and animated, it's not about you. That was formed a long time ago. Then someone might come up and no, Keith, it is about them because they did this and they did that. No, it's still about you because you control your behaviors and you're reacting to what they did. That's about you. I'm hurt, so I'm going to start yelling and screaming. I'm hurt, so I'm going to shut down. Because guess what? You could choose to do something different in that same moment. That same wife that's getting all uppity and yelling and screaming or whatever the case may be, guess what you can do? You know what? Hey, the way you're talking to me right now, I got boundaries. I don't want you talking to me like that. I don't deal well with people that talk to me that way. I need you to bring the tone down so I can help you and meet you and we can engage in this conversation. Otherwise, I'm gonna walk away. Well, I'm just setting my boundaries and letting her know. Now, if she continues, I'll walk away. But if she stops, we continue to engage in conversation. That's me controlling me. That's me saying this is how I want to be treated. And if I'm not being treated this way, I'm not going to hold it against you because maybe you have things you got to work through. But me, I'm not going to put up with the behavior, so I'm going to exit. Stage left. I'm going to just leave. That's all. No harm, no foul. I'm not going to build up resentment against you. I'm not going to take it personal. I'm going to reframe it and look, hey, this is something that she's got going on. And maybe you know what it is. Maybe you've been with someone long enough and you know what their past is and things of that nature. Maybe you do know where that comes from. Maybe it comes from a poor relationship with their father or a poor relationship with their mother or something along those lines. And that's where it comes from. That's where they need to do the work. So I'm not taking it personal. I'm not tripping off it because, hey, that's unfortunate. I have compassion on this person. I can forgive them, but I'm not going to be taking it personal, right? Because guess what happens when you build up resentment in your own heart? You're not hurting the other person, and you're definitely not keeping yourself safe. No, what do? You're tearing yourself down. You're hurting on the inside. You think everyone's against you. A lot of times you adopt the victim mentality. You carry it from relationship to relationship to relationship. It messes with your behaviors. It keeps you from opening up. It doesn't protect you. Resentment is a prison. You know, it's one of those prisons that has like with closing walls in it, right? That's crushing you, not them. It's crushing you. It's crushing you into the way to depression, sadness, hurt, Anger, frustration, loneliness, it's crushing you under that. Resentment is doing you zero favors. Resentment is making you think that all women are horrible. Resentment is making you feel that all men are horrible. Resentment is making you feel that all white people, all black people, all these people in the world are all horrible. It's killing you. It's destroying you. It's robbing you of peace. It's robbing you of joy. It's robbing you of love. It's robbing you of fulfillment. It's literally robbing you. It's poison to your system. It does not keep you safe. I cannot stress this enough. Resentment does not keep you safe. It only destroys you. It poisons you, slowly wrapping around your neck till you can't breathe anymore, damaging your insides, leaving you susceptible to all types of inflammation. And we know that inflammation is one of the leading causes to diseases forming in your body, right? It leaves you in a constant state of stress, a constant state of stress. You know what disease means? It's dis-ease in the body. You're thrown off. Resentment, that's what resentment does. It ages you. There is no benefit to being resentful towards your spouse. None at all. You think you're safe, but you're not. You think I'm saving my emotions. You're not. No, now you're just in a relationship where you can't open up and you feel like you're stuck. And now you still can't get any relief for peace. It doesn't do no favors. So please don't take your spouse's shortcomings as personal. We all have a history. We all have a past. And there's a reason why we do these things. We were doing these things long before our spouse came along. We sucked at communicating long before they came along. We sucked at opening up long before they came along. That's long before they came along. Right? So it has nothing to do with them. So same thing. It has nothing to do with us. So don't take it personal. Just reframe it. And if you don't have the information, know that there's probably something going on maybe I'm not aware of that's causing them to respond this way. However, I don't want to be treated that way, so I'm just going to exit and say, no, I can't be in this conversation right now because there's too much contempt. Like you've attacked me like 3 or 4 times already. I told you I don't like that. I explained to you why I don't like that. You're still doing it. So I'm going to exit this conversation. Right? I don't, and again, I may not know what you're going through, but I'm going to have forgiveness and compassion on you because you know what? This is the critical part. All of us have fallen short. All of us have made mistakes. All of us have sinned. All of us have done things unintentionally. All of us have showed up and hurt people we care about unintentionally. We didn't even know it based on the things we've been through. So who am I? Who am I to judge you? Even if I don't know what it is, who am I to judge you and say that, oh, you're just this horrible person that just doesn't care? No. I may not know what you're going through, but listen, I had my go through as well. And I need to have someone to have compassion and forgiveness on me, just like I'm going to do on you. I don't have to be abused like that, but I'm also not going to hold this against you like that. Yeah. Because for one, I don't want to be holding on to resentment. And for two, you probably got something you're going through. You start moving like that in your relationship, you don't think it's going to improve. You don't start having compassion, forgiveness on your person and starting and having boundaries. You don't think that's going to improve your relationship. You don't think that's going to move you to more understanding. You don't think that's going to eliminate a lot of those assumptions. Of course it's going to. Of course it's going to. Yeah, we got to. So again, we have to learn to reframe. Don't make assumptions. Don't try to make up a story about it. You don't have to. It's real simple. Either you know what's going on and why they're experiencing what they're experiencing, or you don't. That's it. It's only 2 things. I'm making it real simple for you guys. Because a lot of times we go through our mind and we're just racking our mind. Oh, maybe it's this. Maybe they don't love me. Maybe they're cheating on me. Maybe it's this. Maybe they want to leave. Maybe it's maybe it's no. We don't got to do all that. We don't got to do all that. It's real simple. Either I know what they're going through. Yeah, no, she done told me like the trauma she experienced when she was younger. So yeah, no, I see. I can make the connection as to why she's so amplified right now, why she's getting so mad right now, why she's so irate right now. Right. I understand we had the conversation before in the past. She feels like yada, 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 whatever. All right, cool. Hey, I'm going to pray for her. I'm going to forgive her. I'm going to have compassion. I'm still going to set my boundaries. Right. I'm still going to love her. I'm still going to pour into her. I'm still going to do what I need to do on my side, but I'm not going to allow myself to be treated this way. So I'm going to have to remove myself at this moment. Right? You're good in that case. Right. And that's if you know. And if you don't know, then guess what? Hey, I don't know why she's tripping like that. I don't know why he's flipping out like that. I don't get it, but hey, I know it's got to be something he grew up with, or something from his parents, or something from his youth, or something like that. I know it's got to be something. I don't got to know exactly what it is. I know it's got to be something. Why? Because I know I've been in similar situations as well. There have been times when I was reacting. I wasn't really fully aware of what I was doing at the moment. So, hey, I'm going to give you you get that compassion, you get that forgiveness as well. Still got to have that boundary. I'm still not going to allow you to treat me any kind of way, but I'm also not going to hold on to it either. So I don't need that resentment in my life. I don't need the unforgiveness in my life. And, you need compassion just like I needed compassion. So I'm going to keep it pushing like that. Only two things. You don't got to think nothing twice about it. Hop on the game, start playing, go hang out with the girls, go get your nail done, get a massage, go to the gym. You keep living life. You don't got to sit down and ponder it. No, you keep living life. And now what ends up happening is your significant other, your husband, your wife, you know what they're going to do? Because you didn't respond, because you moved in that way and you showed compassion and forgiveness and love, but you set your boundaries, they're going to start reflecting on their own behavior. Dang, shoot, maybe I did kind of come off and bite his head off for no reason. Oh, man, maybe I need to go to apologize. And guess what they do? They come back and apologize. And then guess what you do? Relationship restored. Oh, cool. No, it's all good. Hey, I appreciate you apologizing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because it did hurt my feelings, but hey, I appreciate you coming around. Hey, you want to get something to eat? Hey, you want to go hang out? You want to, lay down? You want to, hey, let's go, let's do something together. And you pick up right where you left off, and you just keep it pushing. And now your partner's getting a chance to heal and grow and go through their go through and get better. But guess what? I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't have to make any assumptions. I didn't have to assume why they were hurt. I didn't have to assume anything. I didn't have to create any meaning behind it. Either I know it in this case, or I don't. Either way, I'm good. I don't have to know it. If the person on the other end, if the cashier is having a bad day, I don't have to know why they're having a bad day. If they give me poor service, whatever, I don't have to know what that is. I don't have to. Oh man, I hope everything's all right. I just showed up. I don't know what she's tripping about. I'll pray everything's okay. I'm telling you, that goes a long way, right? For the peace for yourself. Peace for yourself. Because I don't have to walk away from that experience and be like, man, I can't believe who does she think she is, treated me that way. She didn't double bag my bag, and she should have double bagged it, and she just had such a bad attitude and all this. You don't need to do all that. You don't have to do all that. For what? You don't have to do all that. Hey, man, she was tripping. I hope she's all right, though. Man, God be with her, And I'm going to keep going, put my music on, whistle a little bit, whatever. I'm going to just keep it pushing. Like my day goes on, right? That's simple. That's simple. And I'm going to leave you, because when I start wrapping up right now, I'm going to leave you with an extra bonus as well. Right? So we talk about this whole thing is about the dangers of making assumptions and how not to make assumptions and to still get the same thing you're looking for in your relationship. That's what this whole live stream is about, right? But one little key thing, I think it's really, really, really important. Be kind as often and as much as humanly possible. Because more often than not, you really don't know all that's going on. Even if you're married to this person, you're with them every single day. I'm telling you right now, I can guarantee you do not know all of what's going on in this person, just like someone won't know all that's going on inside of you. Default to being kind. That's it. Default to being kind. It's got to be something, you're being kind and maybe they're still not being receptive or whatever. And maybe they're going through something, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to still keep being kind. I'm going to still keep loving them. I'm going to still keep pouring into them, things of that nature, right? Can't go wrong with being kind. Cannot go wrong with being kind. Can't. So I strongly recommend that, right? Strongly recommend that. Instead of making assumptions, just be kind. That's the fourth one, right? Fourth little bonus, right? Just be kind. Keep showing them that love. Keep showing them that love. Keep showing up. Keep helping them. Keep doing those things. Keep doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. That's what you do. I'm telling you, that goes a very, very, very long way because it helps you to stay consistent with who you are as a person, right? We don't want to change or stop being ourselves because of anybody else and with their actions or whatnot. And then it shows them what real love and consideration looks like. Now, of course, I'm not saying that we need to allow us to be abused. I already talked about that, setting those boundaries. And if you feel that, okay, I'm getting drained, like I'm pouring in, like say, Keith, I'm pouring in and pouring in and pouring in, and it's just, I'm getting tired. Well, you might need to pull back from doing all that extra, right? But maybe you can still show up and be kind. You know, you can still be supportive as much as possible. You can still be kind with your words. If you make dinner, you can still make them a plate. You know, if you're going to the grocery store, you can still check in and say, hey, babe, I'm at the grocery store. You need anything? You can still continue to be kind. And it goes a very long way. It creates that safety in the relationship that even if we're going through something, even if you had to walk away from the conversation, you know, and that person, because some people, they'll be like, oh, shoot, you know, I messed up so bad. And oh my gosh. And your love and your kindness to show them that it's okay. I'm still here. You know, hey, it's all love. I understand you got your go through. You know, I want you to get help for it, but I get it. I forgive you and have compassion with you. That goes a long way to soften people's heart and open them up and build a relationship and get that vulnerability that you're looking for in the relationship. So be kind and be consistent with it because that's who you are. Remember, don't do things because you're trying to get some result from somebody else on the other side. We don't do anything for external validation. No, 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 no. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Do it because it aligns with your values and who you are. That's why you do it. And that's why you're consistent with it. Because I have a lot of couples that'll come and say, oh, yeah, they start for a little bit and they stop. They start for a little bit and they stop. That's because you're not being consistent. You're not staying in alignment with your values. You're not doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it because you took a look for some results on the other side, as opposed to doing it because it's the right thing to do. It's right for a husband to love his wife as Christ loved the church. That's the right thing to do. It didn't say husbands love your wives as Christ loves the church. If, you know, she's intimate with you 3 or 4 times a week and she makes her dinner and she doesn't, you know, lose her stuff from time to time and she's emotionally regulated all the time and then love. It doesn't say that. It says love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. That's what it says. And that template works really, really well in our relationships. I'm going to love you regardless. I'm going to give you that security so that even when you're down and out, guess what? I'm still here. I'm still here. Right. And then wives honestly honoring their husbands. I forgot what that scripture is for the women on the other side of that. Those, you know, but long story short, right? You know, we want to make sure we're kind to one another, we're pouring into one another because it's the right thing to do. Like you show up for your husband because it's the right thing to do. You know, that's why. That's why we do it. It aligns with our values and our morals, right? So that's all I have for you guys today. Listen, no assumptions. Make no assumptions. Please do not make assumptions. It's dangerous. It's destructive. It's not helpful. It builds resentment. It builds negative sentiment override. It builds judgment and criticism and contempt. It destroys relationships. Make no assumptions. You don't have to assume when you have access to the person, you have access to the information. Just ask. And you have to share your perspective, share something that's observable, objectively observable. If they raise their voice, just state that. If they bang the table, then state that. Don't assume intent. Don't assume what they thought. Don't assume what they feel. Just, hey, whoa, you just bang the table. Is everything good? You know, it seems to me that everything may not be good. Is everything good? I don't know. Right? Stop making an assumption. You just open the floor, leaving a question. Hey, you seem like you don't really want to talk. Or I should say better yet, it seems like you're not really talking right now. Is everything okay? You know, or hey, you're really looking at your phone, and I'm trying to talk to you. Is everything good? Just what it's observable. And here's the best part about it. This is what I always teach people when I talk about, especially doing the SIR method, right? If you're stating the situation, you want to be as objective as possible, meaning that if anyone were to come in and see what had happened, they would say the exact same thing. Yes, when I saw you, everyone come in and say, yep, you were looking at your phone. Not what it meant, but you were looking at your phone. Yeah, we saw that. You were looking at your phone. You were watching the TV. Oh, yeah, you did bang the table. It's observable, non-judgmental, right? No assumptions, all right? So if y'all need any help with this, if you need any strategies, you need counsel, whatever you need to help you, because maybe this is something that's existing in your relationship. Maybe you're the one that's having compassion and forgiveness and grace and mercy and things like that. And you're doing all these things right. But on the other side, it seems not to be hidden for some reason. If you need that help, come in. Let's come. We'll talk about your relationship. We'll get it fine tuned. We'll help you guys get to the place where you guys are in love with one another. You're connected. You can't keep your hands off one another. We'll get you to that point. It does take work. It does take being consistent. But we can tease all these things out and break them all apart so you can understand each other better and be able to listen, understand, validate, and just be there for one another and understand one another. All right. All right. This is Dr. Keith Fairclough. I'll catch you all again. Hey, but I also always want to let you guys know, always, 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 never forget this, that you are not alone. Y'all take care. Have a great, awesome, and blessed day.